So, hi, this is Fred Simino from Profile, and I'm very pleased to have Steve Hackett tonight on our radio. Hi, Steve. How are you doing?
Very good, Fred. Very good. Nice to talk to you.
Good. Hey, thanks for doing this, eh? Your brand new album is titled Night of the Siren. Will be released on March 24th. First, congratulations, but let me ask you, how does this album stacks up with your discography, but particularly with Wolflight?
Well, it's the latest in the long line of albums. It's something like album number 25 or 26. So the Night Siren is the title of the album, and it'll be out on March the 24th. We have 20 people on the album from many different places all over the world, from Israel, from Palestine, working together, Azerbaijan, Hungary, many places, Iceland, Sweden, United States, the UK. So it has, in many ways, a world music feel. It's essentially a rock album, but it has a world music feel with, in a sense, it's a sort of... much of it is a symbol for peace. I'm very keen on trying to get across the message that is an age-old one in many ways, but the idea that if we can get all these people peacefully working together from all over the globe, then maybe some other people will cotton onto the idea that we don't have to demonize, as Obama says.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. From what I've read, this album was written by yourself, your wife, Jo, and Roger King. So tell us how the writing process went and how was it managed or manageable?
Well, we traveled to many different places, my wife and I. We, as a byproduct of touring, doing many shows over the globe, we make friends everywhere. But it also means that we end up collecting up not just friends, but instruments from all over the world. And sometimes other people play them, sometimes we play them ourselves. The process of writing is very much, it's two-pronged. On one level, I collect data of various performances that people do, whether that's face-to-face or with file sharing. And on another level, I try to come up with stories with my wife Jo, and then we flesh them out, much like making a movie, except that it's really more like a film for the ear than the eye. So Jo and I work on them first of all, and then when I'm recording them, when I'm working with Roger King, who's engineering and playing keyboards and is very involved with the arrangements of those songs, we take them to another stage before we involve other humans. So that's an extension of the writing process. Then we get people involved once we've done the computer sketches and assimilated all of the various bits of data that have been collected around the world.
You've worked with many great artists on this new project. From all over the world. So what makes you want to collaborate with so many different musicians instead of like regular bands, 4 or 5 musicians?
Well, I have a regular band that is at the core of the album as well, but it's an extension of that. So in a sense, I always think that most bands are improved when there's an orchestra involved. If you're able to take it to that level, and if you've got someone on board who's sufficiently gifted to be able to write out the arrangements, I mean, the rest of us can dream them up, but at the end of the day, you know, these things have to go down on paper, and once you start using orchestral instruments, I think that it broadens rock's shoulders and takes it to an area that makes it more cinematic and perhaps a tad more soundtrack-like. And these things are a given when you look back over time, the great arrangements of the great tunes that were done in the past. But we have that capability within the team at the moment. So I like to think I've got the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a group. it's a solo career, but it's also a group, but it's also an orchestra, and then it's orchestra plus all these other things that other people might bring to the plot, instruments that one might not necessarily be familiar with at first, such as Malik Mansurov from Azerbaijan playing the tar, for instance. Guy is a virtuoso, so I love working with him, and similarly with trumpet and didgeridoo from Hungary, played in a very uncharacteristic manner. So these instruments aren't necessarily. It's not obvious what the sound source is, but it's sourced from acoustic performances.
Very interesting. Not sure how you do it, but like you never seem to take any breaks. You just came back from the Cruise to the Edge in mid-February, releasing this new album at the end of March. You're already on tour. So how do you find the energy to keep on going the way like you've done it for so many years?
Well, I think if you have passion for the work that you do, it will make you go the extra mile. And so, much of what I do, music, isn't really hard work. I think if you love something, it makes it so much easier. For other people, they might say, well, it's too rigorous or vigorous a lifestyle, but we do it because we love it, basically. All the guys in the band, everybody loves it, or else they wouldn't drive themselves so hard to bring it to the people.
Yeah. Talking about the tour, I understand that you'll take the opportunity to celebrate the 40th anniversary of Genesis' Wind and Wuthering. So what else can we expect from this tour in 2017?
Well, I think it's important to do two things. I've realized that if I wanted to, I could carry on touring the Genesis stuff for the rest of my life, because there is a huge market all over the world for that. But on the other hand, whilst it's nice to keep the museum doors open for those glorious exhibits, new music is vitally important to me. It's the oxygen that I breathe. So we do a set of solo things, and then I do the Genesis stuff. So we do three things off the new album, the Night Siren, and then with other live favorites from solo bands that I've had. This is driven by fans. They write to me and say, "Oh, I really wish you would do something like the Steps again." So I've said, "Okay, yeah, I'll do that, but we want to do it better than ever. So we want to do it with bigger, more explosive drums than we've done before." So it's an extraordinary version that the band does of that, for instance. And then, as you said, the Genesis stuff. It's the 40th anniversary of Wind and Wuthering. So we do what I consider to be the best tunes from that. The epic ones, 11th Earl of Mar, One for the Vine, challenging pieces, Blood on the Rooftops, In That Quiet Earth, and Afterglow, all from that album. And we do Inside and Out as well, which was recorded at the same time. Something that, to my mind, should have gone on the album. A lot of people's favorite tune that was only on an EP. And it's wonderful to be able to do a very authentic rendering of all those tunes, plus Inside and Out, and take them to the next level. Inside and Out didn't really have a great ending when we did it on record, and maybe that's the reason we didn't quite have the payoff. But we have that now, that live capability. So I think that it's an act of restitution, as far as I'm concerned, putting that up there with all the rest of the, as I say, the glorious exhibits.
Yeah, I saw on the list of tour dates that you'll be in Oakville, Ontario. But any chance that we'll see you in the eastern part of Canada, like in Quebec?
Well, certainly long term, that'll be the case.
Okay.
What tends to happen is that we have tours booked via our agent in New York, who will book. Sometimes there'll be an emphasis on a certain area, and then we come back later in the year and we play the other territories. And of course, yes, Quebec is such an important area for the type of music that I've been playing all these years. It's hugely important, so I hope to be back there as soon as possible.
That's great news. 25 studio albums within your solo career, 6 Genesis, and add to this like numerous other projects such as compilations, lives, and best-ofs. Anything that you still have not accomplished music-wise, or anything that you always dreamed of doing?
Well, I think that, music is its own currency. It repays you with so much more than money. Lucky as I am to be, having made my hobby my profession, there's something else that goes on. I think that music is both memory and great medicine. It reinvigorates people. It is so many things, and there are so many different genres of music.
Yeah.
I've been involved with many different styles of things over the years. Essentially, I think of myself as foremost a rock musician, but I've done acoustic pieces and classical pieces, and looked at the classical canon from time to time. I don't think anything is really off limits to me. I'm passionate about so many different kinds of music, and I've collaborated with so many people over the years, and I hope to continue that in future.
Yeah. But still, progressive rock seems to remain in your DNA, right?
Yes, it does, yeah. I think it's music that's full of surprises. I always liked that. Obviously, once a piece is known, it is no longer surprising. But music that has no rules and is full of the element of surprise, as I say, is something that you might say it's music for people who get bored very quickly, or people who get thrilled by the fact that the music might take very unusual turns, twists and turns, and I very much liken it to film, and epic film at that, where you get a sudden change of scene, and you're taken to another place and time very often in the course of the piece. So genre hopping or the pan genre approach has been something that has galvanized me for many, many years. There's nothing that's really off limits to me. I have no prejudice against music, be it classical or jazz or rock or pop or blues or world music. I find all of it equally engaging.
Yeah. But what do you think about the present and the future of progressive rock music?
Well, the present and the future of it is to have one's own interpretation of it, and I think that there are many things that have become the stalwart of progressive. I think that I understand people's fascination with the twin bastions of the keyboard world as regards progressive stuff, the mellotron and the Hammond organ, but we tend to use not just those things, but have those things plus additions to those. So sometimes it's nice to work with the real thing. Sometimes it's nice to work with a real orchestra, or to mix, the man and the machine, wonderful samples that are out there. I mean, I often come back to those things time and time again because they can sound wonderful. But it's only one of a number of possibilities. I remember having this conversation with Ian MacDonald and telling him how wonderful I thought that his use of mellotron was, and he said, well, that's all we had at the time. We would have used more at the time. So up to the present day, that's how we see it.
Well, the interview is going quite quickly, but I'm at the part now where the questions will only require one word answer.
Sure thing.
And if you don't want to answer, you just say pass.
Okay.
So your favorite country to perform Genesis music?
Ooh, God. I would have to pass on that. It would be unfair to say one place. Obviously, French Canada is a big deal for that, yes.
Yeah. So another hard one. A favorite country to perform Steve Hackett's music?
Well, I think it's all the same thing. You know, it's been this tour has been marvelous. One word answer, very, very difficult. I have to answer the world.
Yeah.
I don't want to upset anybody here.
I like that. The world. Your favorite progressive rock album of all time?
Oh, goodness me. Probably Sgt. Pepper.
Oh, nice. Yep. Your favorite guitar player?
Ooh, very difficult. One word answer. It's different people at different times, depending on who you know. Yeah, probably Andres Segovia.
Okay. The latest album you've purchased?
Latest album I've purchased. Oh my God. Wow. Been so bloody busy. I can't remember when I last purchased an album. I think it's the Stones, actually. It was the Rolling Stones album, the last one.
Okay. One artist you wish you could play with on stage?
I think Buffy St. Marie.
Okay. Your favorite vacations?
Favorite vacation? Well, you know, I would like to take Joe to New Orleans. We had it booked at one point, and then things went wrong, sadly. But I'm looking forward to New Orleans because of its amazing history.
Okay, and one more. Can we expect a new box set from your solo career?
Well, there has been one recently, which is quite extensive. It's the early years.
Yeah, the 7
It will
first, I
be.
think.
There will be a later one at some point, of course.
Awesome. Anything you'd like to add before I let you go?
I can't think of a thing right now, but it's been great talking to you, and I look forward to so much, you know, to being back in Quebec at some point soon.
Yeah. It was an honor as well for talking to you. So best of luck with this brand new album, and looking forward to see you live again.
Thank you very much, Fred.
All right, thank you.